Welcome to the Bait Boys podcast, the podcast where every single bait is made with a little bit of heart, a little bit of soul, and at least one catastrophic mistake that we won't admit to. My name is Jesse with Freek Baits Custom Fishing Lures, and as always, I am joined by my distinguished co-hosts, Trevor from Peak Baits and Anthony from Lazy Baits Co. Gentlemen, how art thou this evening?
Good. I'm distinguished tonight.
I just looked for a word that I could use.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's
All
good.
right, good. I don't want to live up to that. That's an expectation I can't live up to.
I don't think you have to worry about that, but that's okay. But also today we are joined by Jovan, also known as the Real Bass Pursuit. And we are very happy that Jovan took the time to meet with us tonight. Jovan is a fishing influencer / content creator. Jovan, thank you. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, guys. Thank you for having me, honestly.
Of course.
It's an honor. It's an honor to be on you guys' podcast. It's my first podcast, so super excited to be here. And I'm ready. I'm ready to get it going.
Excellent. Well, we're glad to have you. And we are going to dive deep into the world of the Real Bass Pursuit here in just a minute. But first, we have a few announcements per the usual. And I think, Anthony, I've got you down to kick us off with the first big announcement. Pretty good one.
I got them right here. I'm prepared this time. So we finally released the downsized version 2 that Trevor painted, and they came out amazing. This is the sexed out shad. You ready, Trev?
I'm ready.
This one is Bwuu shad. Bwuu.
Yes.
Who named it?
My 2-year-old.
Bwuu. Bwuu shad.
I love it.
I love it. That's my favorite color, black and blue. So, yeah, these are up on our website now.
Hopefully there's still some left by the time this episode airs. Well, hopefully not, honestly. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. We'll make more. Maybe not that color. But I don't like to repeat things, and I don't think Trevor does either. Although Bwuu, maybe a variation of Bwuu.
Bwuu might have to stay around.
I didn't get it at first. I'm like, what's BWUU? And then he said, my 2-year-old named it, and I was like, oh, Bwuu. Yep, that's what I got going on.
Awesome. Well, the only thing I've want to remind everybody about is, I believe, if my timelines are correct, which they're usually not, that the color challenge, both voting for the winner of the color challenge and the giveaway entries are in effect right now as we speak and will be announced on the next episode. Did I get that right, guys?
I can't do that math in my head.
I think that's how it is. And I don't remember what I said in the last podcast. So we're just going to say that sounds right. If it's not,
sounds right.
I will
If
add
it's
a correction
not, then it's the next one.
Yeah, it's one of these podcasts. We're gonna announce the winners of the giveaway. But no, really excited about that. And Trevor, to wrap us up with the announcements, I hear you have a big announcement too.
I do. Bwuu really explains it now that I'm thinking of it and looking at it. And when I cook, it gets pretty lonely. Brings back a lot of stuff. So, almost caught a sneak peek there. You saw that? So I have a mascot that's going to join me. Are you guys ready?
Whoa. Hop. The Batman Bwuu duck?
That's right.
That just combines your entire story arc into one thing. That is incredible.
Yep. Hey, we have
my sous chef.
Is your sous chef for when Trev cook?
He's the fry cook. We have a I Am Batman shirt available. It's Trevor as Batman. And go check that out. Maybe now we need a Batman Bwuu duck shirt.
Yeah. I think so.
I think we just take it to the next evolution. It's like Pokemon. Pokemans. You can tell I'm from Missouri. Jeez. No, that's I the stars must have aligned to bring that mascot into your life, because it just, like I said, it covers your entire story arc over the last 3 episodes. So
did you search for it, or did it just come to you?
You want the truth?
Yeah.
I have my wife to thank. I had nothing to do with it. I came home and it was there.
I
That's
think if you're
usually-
married,
That's
I
usually the
think that's how
case.
life is. Yeah.
Hey, we got
And then
groceries tonight, thanks to my wife. And dog
Behind
food.
every apparent genius, there is a woman who actually knows it all.
Mhm.
So I can relate.
Right?
Yeah, don't tell anybody except for our dozens of viewers. Your secret is safe for now.
for now.
All right. Anything else? Any other announcements?
I think that's it.
I think that was good.
That's it.
Let's get into
All
it.
right. Well, yeah, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. And welcome back our guest, Jovan, also known as The Real Bass Pursuit. Again, just to go back over, in case you forgot after the long conversation we just had of, a solid 3.5 minutes. Jovan is a fishing influencer, very active on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, I'm assuming. Are you on TikTok?
Absolutely.
Yep. Most people are. I'm not, but that's okay.
Jesse doesn't have the ticky talk.
I don't mess with the Tic Tacs, but it's okay. It's fine. I got too many. But anyway, this isn't about me. This is about you. Again, welcome. And first off, why don't you just tell us and our viewers/listeners a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
So, as you guys already know, my name is Jovan, and I am the Real Bass Pursuit. That's one of the things that kind of started the whole fishing on content creation. Because originally, honestly, I was never really into fishing. It was one of those things that never crossed my mind. Never, never even thought about it. And then things kind of lifted from there. I grabbed a rod, bought a kayak, and the rest was history. So that right there is kind of who I am and what I do. I don't know if that kind of answers that question.
Yeah.
Do apologize.
But
Absolutely.
did the fishing start the content creation?
So I mean, it kind of did in a sense, because prior to doing the content creation, I was fishing, but it wasn't something that I was doing now, as where I'm so deep into it. I started and like the video I made with the 3 mistakes of, overloading my backpack and bringing all the tackle. That was actually me. I was going out there and I had no clue what I was doing. I went out to a spot that I think was completely drained out, and I thought I was going to catch something on a bobber and a worm. And I stood there for maybe 3 or 4 hours and I caught absolutely nothing, man. I mean, nothing. I was
Wow.
just preying on hope at that point. So came back, went on to the drawing board, and I started getting deep into the bass behavior and understanding how they think and how they act and where to locate them and how to fish for them, and started growing my arsenal and my rods. And it got to a point that I was on Instagram and I was just posting my catches. And I realized that I wanted to be a little bit different. And I mean, you go on Instagram, you go on TikTok, and everyone is posting their catch. And that's just how it is. Everybody is excited about what they're catching, but very few very few questions were being answered. So there was times where I'll go on YouTube and I'll do some research and I'm not finding my answer. So I would have to go a different source, or maybe read a book or an article or something to figure out exactly the answer I was looking for. So that kind of got my gears turning. If I can't find the answer, maybe the next person can. So let me provide that answer. And that's where that Real Bass Pursuit started coming into it, because then that name is what I became. I was constantly looking for a bass, constantly chasing that next catch, embracing the journey. It was something that I really grabbed onto. So from there, going back to the backbone of the family, my wife, she was like, you know what? I see the passion you're getting in this. Let me get you a GoPro. And that there was gold mine for me. Did that, and I had no clue about editing. I knew nothing about editing, nothing at all. So I went out there and I was fishing with a swim jig. It was a Strike King bluegill swim jig, 3/8 ounce from Walmart. And I had already some of the skirts missing, and I had a fluke tied onto it, and I was just casting it and retrieving it pretty quickly. And I got bit. And it was at the time a decent sized bass in the pond I was fishing. This was a small pond where normally you would only put out maybe a pound and a half. this one here came out to like 3 pounds, 3 ounces. So I was losing my mind over it. So I instantly got back, dropped my SD card into the computer, and I didn't know how to edit. So I just let GoPro do the editing for me. And it was one of the worst edits I ever did. But it's out there. It's there. And that's when I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get a little deeper into it. So I started picking up the editing, and that just kind of took off. And now I don't say I have the best editing skills, because I don't. I still look at my videos and I'm like, this is trash. But you know what? It's information and people can use it, you know. But um that right there is what, like I said, kind of kickstarted that real bass pursuit, that journey. And from here on out, man, it's just growth.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny even that when you say it's like you look at the edits and you're like, oh, this is trash. That's how all of us feel with baits. We find everything wrong with them. Like I look at Trevor's and Jesse's and they're perfect. And they're like, oh, I messed up on this and that. And I'm like, well, I don't see it. But same thing
That's
for
how
them
growth
looking at
is.
mine, and same with your videos. We don't see it, but you see it because you know you're like, I need to improve this or that, or and that's growth.
But I mean, if you see yourself as perfect all the time, you're never gonna have that room for perfection. You know, there's always another way out or another way higher per se. You know, so if you just look at your baits, or if I look at my content, be like, all right, I'm satisfied with it. I'm gonna just throw it out there. Chances are, eventually, I'm gonna continue down that complacency road, and it's just not gonna get anywhere. I'm just gonna be stuck in that same zone forever.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit in the last episode. It's like the moment you think you're good enough is when you get left behind. The moment that you think that I don't need to get any better. I'm fine. I do a good job. It's good enough. People like it. That's when you get left behind, because there's always somebody out there it's never good enough. It's never right. It's never perfect. And that drives innovation. That drives creativity. That drives just pushing that line further and further and further. So I couldn't agree more. But yeah, I think that since we're on the fishing content topic, let's kind of dive into the type of content that you make. And you alluded to it a little bit earlier. And you do a lot of like educational stuff, like both for beginners and for experienced anglers, for everybody. Tips, tricks, lure reviews, things like that, unboxings. You do a ton of stuff that's informational. You're not just going out there strapping the GoPro on and showing everybody your huge catches, which is what you see a lot in the fishing influencer space. So what made you decide, hey, I'm going to do this differently? I mean, there are a few out there, but there's not a whole lot. I'd say there's more that are just showing off their catches versus the ones that are actually trying to teach their audience something. What helped you make that decision, as far as I want to share this information with people, not just show them big fish?
Like I said, going back, it was one of those things that there was answers or there was questions I had, and I couldn't find the answers. And I mean, there's legends out there that you can just Google the answer or Google the question, and you'll find the answer. You have people all over. And like I started off watching Fluke Master, TRF and people like that, that already had an established ground. And I'm like, okay, if I'm intrigued in this and I still have questions and I can't find the answer, where do I go with it? So then I started doing my own research and figuring out, maybe I have to tie on a lure differently, or maybe I have to do something else differently. So I'd go out, I'll test the theory, I'll come back, and you know what? It worked. Let me push it out there. Like my very first video that I posted that actually got it that educational purpose going on the Tackle Tip Tuesdays was the safety pins. Um that was something that I thought kind of everybody was on core with already. People were using stuff to organize their tackle, but when I posted it, it was something that only a lot of the old school fishermen were doing. They'll take a safety pin, route it through their eyelids of the hook, and they'll just stack 3-aught hooks, 4-aught hooks, and they'll label them. And it was a little bit more easier to pick out a hook rather than you grabbing one hook and everything just falling apart. So that was the video. I was like, you know what? If you've never seen that,
I saw in a video you pulled a hook off, or you had a safety pin and a hook, and I didn't know what you were doing.
so
I didn't know
I'm
that's what it was for organizing them.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll actually show you one here. I should have some here. Yeah, so I do this like this here. I don't know if you guys can see for real. Yeah, man. it's a regular safety pin. And that way, when I need a hook, I just grab the hook I want, close the safety pin back up, put it back in the terminal tackle. If you didn't have this, you'll grab a hook and you'll have one hook attached. It's just like your treble. So I realized that this here saved a lot of time on my kayak and in the water,
My
or
mind
on the
is
bank.
blown.
Yeah, it's the simple things. It's always the simple things, you know? So that was one of those things that I was like, you know what? It's simple, but not a lot of people know about it. So let me push that out there. And it did well. I mean, I wasn't expecting to go viral because it was something that was out there, but just like a lot of the old information, once it's in the past, it doesn't get reviewed again. So there's always new people looking for information they can never reach. And if we can kind of keep those good habits going, not every information needs to be repeated, but there's some new information, there's some old information that a lot of people just need to hear, and like I said, as simple as just a safety pin can change everything.
I'm ordering
crazy.
safety pins after this. Because I
I've
pull
seen
out my
people-
wacky hooks and they're like, it's literally everything that's in that section of the tackle box. And I'm just
Everything
like,
comes
get
out.
off. Yep.
It's crazy. I've seen people do that with like other safety pins. Like they put the rest of their safety pins on one safety pin.
Never thought about it.
I don't know why I never thought to do that with hooks. That's genius. Right? I've never seen that. Like,
yeah, it's the simple things, man. You keep
I don't
life
need
simple
to learn
and life
anything
will
else
treat you well.
today. That just made my day.
Capacity reached. That's that, and that's just like you just taught, which I don't know. I mean, I don't know about Trevor. I know he leaned in, was real interested, but like I didn't know about that. Anthony didn't know about that. Trevor, did you know about that? Like using a safety pin? You probably did because you're the brains of the bunch. No. But it's just like just sitting here talking about it, and you were just referencing one of your old videos in another conversation. Like we all three just learned something. So
yeah, and exactly. So it's anything could be a teaching moment. Any conversation, you can be walking down the street, just trip, and that's a teaching moment that somebody, you might have tripped over something that you bring somebody else's attention to. It's just the minute details that get overlooked.
definitely. Well, I can say that having since I've found out who you were, and then also later on learned that you were coming on the podcast, I definitely started deep diving into a lot of your content. I didn't see that video, but I've seen a lot of them, and you do a lot of.
It's old.
That's I didn't go super far back, but so you mentioned earlier you got the Tackle Tip Tuesdays. You seem to do like these serial short form posts that I'm assuming are going on all of your different platforms, but I'm seeing it
Absolutely.
on Instagram. So do you find that there is a good response to having like the different series, like Tackle Tip Tuesday? Obviously it always happens on Tuesday. Like
So
your other pieces, like do you see a good engagement with that, having different topics that you hit on a regular basis?
absolutely. And the reason for that is, a lot of the times I'm gonna be honest, I can't sit there and film a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, series of me out there fishing and to come back and compile it down to about an hour, 30 minutes or 40 minutes and put it on and do those long forms. It's honestly, I'm married. I have a kid. I work a 9 to 5. So that you guys understand that a lot of that editing it's very hard to mash in there and give the people what they really want, So I figured out, if I can keep people engaged with a short series, maybe that goes on throughout the year, like what I've got going on now, which is the Bass Fishing Chronicles. It's the entire year, and I'm going 2 baits at a time per month. So that kind of keeps my schedule dialed in. I'm not all over the place. I'm not one day figuring out maybe I got to push out a video about this lure, and the next day is like, oh, I didn't get a catch. I don't got no content. I'm always gonna have something to work off, whether it's a Tackle Tip Tuesday on a Tuesday, a Bass Fishing Chronicles episode on a Saturday, maybe even a quick catch breakdown on a Wednesday. Something that keeps people intrigued. And I've realized, as much as I hate to say it, and that's one of the reasons why it's a love-hate relationship with TikTok, is that if you're not keeping up with an algorithm, you're going to get left behind. So it doesn't matter what you're pushing out. If you're not doing it consecutively, you're just walking around the track over and over by yourself. It's like beating a dead horse. So I figured, if I'm not going to be pushing out long content, I'm just going to break them down into increments and just keep it going throughout the whole year. And when the new year comes up, that gives me a whole year to figure out what I want to roll with on the next year. And I've already got my gears going. So there's things that, that keeps me on a set schedule. So that's actually helped out a lot.
Yeah. Speaking of your schedule, that was actually my next question, because your short form videos, they're very well edited. That's something that was one of the first things that I noticed. Like, and I know you said earlier, like you started off not knowing anything about editing, but you're pushing out very consistent, like you said, high end edits. And I was really impressed with that, because I edit this podcast and I have my own YouTube channel, and editing is always something I struggle with. If not the edit itself, staying on schedule with it, like forcing myself to sit down and edit hours and hours of video. And I do mainly, like, I post some reels and stuff, but I do mainly long form, so that's part of that. But
God bless you.
like, yeah, I post about a video every 3 months, so that's, the algorithm's definitely not picking up Freakbaits right now, but that's not important. But whatever, when you're talking about you said that, kind of having these formats for these short series kind of keeps you on track. Is there anything else that you kind of implement in order to keep up with the, like, incredible amount of content that you push out on a very consistent basis? But it's not just that, it's very well done. Like, do you have any, I'm asking selfishly, but I'm sure that some of our listeners would probably love to hear it too. But is there any other tips or tricks that you have as far as staying on task, staying on schedule? And
It's gonna sound crazy, but I've actually gotten down a schedule. Sunday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7 days a week, right? And it's usually like, and you'll actually see a lot of the times I'm not on that schedule. It's very hard to stay on schedule, like I said, especially working 9 to 5, and I work in a bucket truck, so I'm constantly in and out, and there's a very short period of time I get to edit, and very short period of time I get to fish. I try to just follow it. So I'll have and I'll keep it simple, maybe 2 to 3 posts a day. And it could be maybe a picture I've taken that day, or a catch of that day, or something to keep the people engaged. Like I said, I feel, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but we live in a world now where people's attention span is quick. You know, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, people who are on live streams, and it's like, I don't like to keep going, swipe, swipe. So if, and that's the way I see it, if I can keep everything short, I'll be able to push out more content. You can go out and push out, an hour of content and break that up into maybe 30-second increments. Maybe one moment you're just testing out and you got a layover text, that same video later on, you got a catch and now you can incorporate that catch, or maybe you want to just show people how you tied on a lure. So like I said, every moment could be a teaching moment. Now trying to put all that together and finding the time to edit it is one of those things that it's quick. And like I said, that's why I feel like my editing is terrible. I'm probably spending 15, 20 minutes trying to edit a video, and that's maybe a certain section. Then I get back home and I'm 15, 20 minutes again. And then I probably get another break, 15, 20 minutes. So this split pieces, and I'm never actually sitting there just completing the whole piece. So I just go off as best as I can to answer that entire question. It's one of those things that I'm just like, when the time hits me, I go for it. I try my best. Yeah.
Yeah. When you said, I try to make, 2 or 3 posts, I was like, the next words out of your mouth I was expecting, which I knew better. I literally spent probably half an hour in your content today, was a week. Cause that's where my brain is. Cause I'm like, if I can make 3 posts a week, I'm doing great. I am on it. So yeah, 2 to 3 posts a day is just incredible. And we all have day jobs as well. So we could relate to that struggle as far as, like, when do you find the time to do this stuff, to work on the stuff you want to, right? After you're done paying the bills, when do you find the time to do that stuff? And it's hard with a life and a family. So kudos to you for figuring it out.
I have it's like it goes back to this, man. It's not me, it's the wife. she's the backbone. And honestly, it takes two to tango. If I got a hobby and a passion and she has a hobby and a passion. It's one of those things that we balance out for each other. And then we have a little one. So, at the end of the day, we can't just completely submerge ourselves into our own passions. We have a little one we have to focus on too. So, it's things like that that we just it's life's gonna give you the time. You just gotta grab it when it's there.
So with the schedule with you and your wife and having hobbies, this is something me and my wife just started doing, because there be days where I get home from work and I have projects I'm working on, and I'm upstairs, downstairs, like all over the place trying to get stuff done. Absolute chaos in my mind. So we actually got a calendar, and she's like, write on the calendar the days. You don't have to write it a month in advance, but like a week in advance, like on a Sunday, think about what days that week, and and then I write the days I'm going to do it. And like, it's helped with managing, her not having to deal with me constantly being all over the place. And it's helped me keep things a little more organized. Like, I feel like I can come and work for a few hours, and there's not stuff I need to get done. Like, how's the baby doing? What's the puppy doing? Like, is that something like you guys do?
I tell you what, I just want to throw that in there, man. That whole calendar thing. I actually have a calendar here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll turn the camera a little bit. I have a calendar there that's actually still stuck in February. I haven't changed it, and it still has all my content that I had to push out for that month. So I completely get it. I mean, I'm not good with calendars. I did it, thought it was a good idea, and then my wife came in here, but it's not February, and we were in March or April. So, I completely get it. Um, it's one of those things that I'm not good at. So what I ended up doing was, I just went, like I said, the 7 days a week, and each day it's like clockwork, man. I don't change it. I feel like the more you end up changing your schedule, you're never gonna get that rhythm. You need to develop some type of rhythm, right? And that's what I felt like. I was like, you know what? Once I get that rhythm, I'm good. And I kind of drifted off there. Going back to your question, you were asking. I do apologize because I spoke about the calendar. That kind of threw me
Oh,
off.
God, it was great stuff. No, go where you want. That's fine.
I was rambling on. I do apologize. Oh man. But you were asking, how does my wife and I find the time to kind of do our own things?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I like I said, I give it to her. I work that 9 to 5. I get home, and her break kind of begins when I get home, because I like to spend time with my son. So I grab him, and she has a plant obsession, right? She's in love with plants. So she's all over, and she's buying all types of plants, and she's like infatuated. So I give her the time to tend and care those plants, because at the end of the day, fishing to me is what planting is to her. That peace of mind. What I get at the water, where I get out there and my mind is just rambling, and I cast and it gets silent. When she's touching dirt and she's touching soil, she's repotting. It's the same kind of procedure. So at the end of the day, we can't just always be on go mode, mommy and daddy mode. There's got to be a switch where sometimes you got to do self-care for yourself. So if I can provide that to her, I know that it will be provided back. It's one of those things that we got to work together. And that's where we find is, like I said, when life gives us that time, we kind of make the best of what we got with it.
For sure.
So what you're
It's
saying
therapy.
is you can't be lazy in order to get stuff done.
Nah,
Well,
you can't.
sometimes.
And no, I look at that because I'm constantly mystified by how Trevor puts out so many baits. Like, how many did you post today?
Dude.
How many did you post today? How many baits? Like,
It's like,
at least 6 today. And then you posted which I know they had to like have a couple days in the mail, but like all the downsized version 2s, and you're just constantly putting out baits. And it's magic to me how you guys are constantly producing. And I'm like, I feel like I'm working all the time and getting nothing done. But I think we talked about this maybe on a very early episode. Anthony and I are kind of the same way. We're working on 19 different things at the same time, because I can't focus on any one thing for more than a few minutes. But that makes it to where instead of getting 3 things done a day, I'm getting 19 things done in 3 months. So
Your mind runs all over the place.
that's why I'm asking all these questions about organization and scheduling,
right,
because
same.
I gotta do something
That's
different.
funny. Victor asked me today. He's like, "So what's going on? What are you working on?" And then the messages were like, "This, this, 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 this." Like, where do you want to start? I'm here at this project, here at that. Like, yeah, but there's a lot going on. I feel like Trevor focuses a lot more. Like he starts
Oh, man.
something and finishes it, and we're like, "Wow, that's a squirrel over there. I should make a squirrel bait." Is that a bird?
Oh,
I want to
you
carve
know
a
what?
bird.
I tell
I
you,
have those
man.
moments.
Oh, go ahead, Trevor. I do
No, no,
apologize.
no, that's it.
Nah, it's one of those things that like I was never like that. I was in the military. I was in the army. I was a parachute rigger. So I packed
Oh,
parachutes. I
that's a heavy
packed
job.
parachutes. Yeah, it was attention to detail. If it wasn't like fishing, you didn't have one shot. You know, a lot of times you cast and you do have that one shot and you have retries and your line breaks and you retie, but a line can't break when you're tying a parachute. It's one of those things that there's a life. So, you know, attention to detail was something that I picked up in the military. If I wasn't constantly making sure that, you know, my P's and Q's are right and I was focusing on what I had to focus on, there was always going to be some type of negative repercussion, you know? So I took that same mentality and I just adapted to life. If you're gonna do something, go head on and make sure you do it correctly. And if you fail the first time, try again. You can't just, you know what, it didn't work out. Let me jump on the next project because the next one might hit. No, that project might have hit if you continued, you know? So it's one of those things that you just have to keep trying and you never know. It's when you finish doing what you're doing, it may turn out to be a big success and you're gonna learn something from that, you know? So it's just how it is. It's the little things.
I like to put projects on pause. I don't step away when they don't work right. Like I'm not gonna never finish it, but I'll get back to it.
You'll come back.
Yep.
Yeah, I get mad at stuff and I'm like, I need to not be around you for a minute. Like just and that minute may turn into a week, but I need to not look at you for just let my anger subside and walk away to then be able to think clearly to try to problem solve. But I
Sometimes you
think
gotta walk back away.
yeah, I think that I am a little bit past the maximum age for enlisting. So I'm not going to necessarily be able to learn from the
I wouldn't
military.
recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it.
But mad respect for anybody who's done it for sure. And Jovan, thank you for your service. I sincerely mean that.
Thank you for your
But I'm
support.
gonna all day, every day. But I'm gonna have to figure out a different plan. So, Trevor, what do you do? What's your secret sauce to putting out 50 baits a week?
I can't handle it not done. Like I can't handle starting it and I start it, I have to finish it. Otherwise I won't finish it.
Man, I don't have
It's a
that either.
mindset. It's a mindset. It's something that I mean, and it's discipline. At the end of the day, it's just you know you have the passion for it, and that's 50% of the battle, right? The other one is the other 50% is just hard work. So as long as you put in that hard work and you have the love for what you're doing, it's gonna happen. It's not like Anthony said. You know, you may have to step away for a little bit, but eventually you're gonna come back to it. Just don't forget about it. You know. You got to step away, take a breather, rethink things, maybe come back with a new game plan. And so be it. That's what it is. But don't just completely obliterate it and I'm not going back.
A new game plan 8 months to a year later. Like my crawler. I designed that crawler bait. Like I'm not gonna not finish it. I really like it. And I feel like when the stars align and things are just right, it's gonna go from it didn't work out to finished in like a couple days. But like something just has to hit in my mind. Yeah, definitely I understand that needing to get something done. But when it's just like something I'm creating, sometimes it's like, oh, there's really no obligation to get this done. So I'll just put it on the back burner and like maybe I'll get to it in a month.
Procrastination is your biggest enemy.
Oh, yeah. No kidding. But I'm glad to hear that I have, I have 50% of what it takes because I do love what I do and I am passionate about it. It's just the whole discipline part. Ask my mom. I've never been good at that. So I will keep trying. Maybe now that I'm 40, I can learn something in my old age. We'll see.
I'm with you, Jesse. I shoot for middle of the road and I nail it every time. I do my mediumist all the time.
But there's nothing
Yes.
wrong with that. At least you're doing something, you know?
Right.
It'd have been different. It's like, well, you know what? I'm just not gonna do it, you know?
Yeah.
But
And I
also
think Anthony,
there's multiple things going on. Like it's not like we just bail on something and it's like, well,
Right.
I'm just gonna go chill on the couch. Like, no, it's like, I'll do one of my other 18 things I'm working on because this one's just not working out. Would you say
I think
that's
I'm
the
my
case,
own,
Jesse?
somewhat. Yes. I think I'm my own worst enemy whenever it comes to a lot of it because I know it's a little different for you because you also have the LB designs that you're working with a ton of other bait makers, creating 3D models, 3D scanning, making molds, making that like you at any given time have, how many 3D printers do you have now? 5? Anyway, you got them
Yeah.
all running at a time
Yeah.
at the
A
same time,
bunch.
just working
7?
on stuff while you can't. My problem is that I will start working on something and then I'll have a different idea that was maybe sparked by that project or just flew into my head as I was doing nothing or whatever. And I'm like, and that's all I can think about now. That's the only thing I can think about is just doing that other thing. I don't want to be doing this right now. I want to be doing that other thing. And it just skips like a rock across the water, just to different things. And so at any given time, I have like 4 baits started. And I got a notebook sitting here next to me with probably 30 drawings of templates for baits that most of them are never going to get made because by the time I get back around to them, I'm like, I don't like that anymore. So I'm my own worst enemy whenever it comes to that. I don't have other people reaching out and distracting me. I got, the distractions we all have, your everyday life stuff. I've got 2 teenage kids basically and full-time job. And, there's no lack of things to do in my life, but I, I just have trouble. Like, I don't have that gene that Trevor has. It's like, once I start it, I have to finish it. I'm like, once I start it, I'll probably finish it eventually. Maybe.
It's called
Listen,
the
I go through
creative
it.
process.
I don't know. I took a break from the Tackle Tip Tuesdays. I think it was like last year. Cause I was like, dang, this is every Tuesday. I got to push this out every single Tuesday. I got to push out another Tackle Tip Tuesday. I was like, let me take a little break, gather some ideas, and I'll come back at it again. It got to the point that I had a couple of DMs and they're like, hey man, what happened to the Tackle Tip Tuesdays? What happened to the tackle? And I started feeling obligated. I'm like, oh, there were people that were actually watching this. They were loving the content. All right. So I went ahead and I just merged the Bass Fishing Chronicles and Tackle Tip Tuesday together, and boom, it kind of worked out because now I have 2 lures to talk about every Tuesday, So it was like sweet, that's what happened. 2 ideas, just merge them into one, and that it works. It works. Sometimes that other idea you have going on, just put it to work. What you got going, and you might create something that may be out of this world, but it works. It works.
I like
I
that.
It
like that.
may
That's up
work.
my alley. That's up my alley. I like making weird
Freak
stuff.
baits,
So
come on, freak baits.
yeah.
I like the Tackle Tip Tuesdays. Sometimes I want them on a Thursday. I'm like, I could use a Tackle Tip Thursday today.
So just wait till Thursday to watch it, Anthony.
Yeah, but I already saw it on Tuesday because then what am I going to see on Tuesday?
Videos? I don't know, man.
Also, I like that worm. The worm with the beads. I never thought of that. Like just creating a little more attraction with those, 2 beads on there. I
So
was like,
those were plastic beads, and that was one of the things I don't think I emphasized in the video. When I first did it, I had started off with plastic beads. They were just regular beads from Walmart, but of course, you do a little bit of research and you realize that maybe what I got is not the best, and it's not always the case because you can go out there with a stick and a line and catch a fish. Honestly, I not to overcomplicate it, but it's true. However, there's certain items that require a little bit more finesse. And trying out glass beads, man, I went with little red glass bead, and I was doing that, and it was just bouncing it off the bottom with the weight just hitting, and it was perfect. The sound is different, versus two plastic beads. That sound clarity underwater, especially at night and murky, if it's murky or you're fishing at night or in that low light condition, that sound really makes a difference. You have the vibration of a ribbon-tailed worm coming down. You have the sound of your weight clashing with that glass bead. That is everything you need for a bass to find what is that noise. Let me go get that, that curiosity sparks. Let me figure out what that is. A lot of times they'll look at it and just probably swim away. A lot of times they don't see it and they hear it and they want to hit it. And that's all it takes, So, it's the little things. And there's to finalize all that, the best way to put it is you could put a nail in the wall with a wrench, but you'll be more effective with a hammer. So it's how it is. You can go out there and fish with anything, but there's some things that work better than others and are meant to be that way. So, I'm not going to hate on the guy out there fishing with, whatever setup he has, because I might get there and he might have a cooler full of bass and I'm just going to be like, damn, or a cooler full of, whatever he's fishing for. And I'm just, but it works. It works. I'm not going to, it's just how it is.
Hopefully there's small bass in his cooler.
But you know what? It's just how it is. To each their own, man. I'm not going to be a Karen or whatever you call it. That's not me, man. If you're fishing and you're keeping it, man, so be it. I'm not going to be there. Oh, you're not supposed to. That's not me, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
No, I agree. I wish you wouldn't keep the big ones, but it's your right to. If you're legal, then you're legal. It is what it is.
I can't do nothing about that.
I don't even know what started the whole concept of don't keep bass. Like I have eaten bass before. It's not that good, in my opinion. There's a lot better fish out there.
Absolutely.
But
I think it was just because, I think it had to do with, I don't know. Like I said, it hasn't been that long I've been at it. Fishing. It's probably been like 3.5 years that I've actually been going at it with it faithfully, So it's one of those things that I think I may be wrong. And you can correct me if I am. That probably picked up after COVID. Everybody during COVID just started fishing, and it was one of those things that people were just fishing for bass because that's what everybody was on. You had your bass fishing tournaments and you had everything going on. So people was just, that's all I know is bass. Oh, here, I live in North Carolina. People are fishing for catfish majority of the time, or bluegill. That's like gold mine. But now as I start going out and there's a lot of people fishing for bass. So that thing where it was like, people are fishing for bass and taking it out of the water. I get it, especially if you're in a pond, in a community that you're not supposed to be fishing in, and not saying that that doesn't happen, but you go to an apartment complex and you start fishing and you don't even belong there, but you're taking the bass out of the pond. That shouldn't happen. But if you go to a lake and you're at a lake and it's, a huge body, fair game, man. I'm pretty sure there's hundreds of bass in there, but it's just, I feel like it's a matter of location. That's where my,
I would agree because in a big body of water like that, they can quickly become overpopulated, and it's actually good to take some out. But I don't know. I don't know why I feel that way. That's like, oh no, don't keep them. But it's just, I don't know. It's just came naturally with the love of bass fishing.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's any worse than us just slamming them in the face with a hook and yanking them out of the water just for fun. So
telling them to stop moving.
Come on, stop. And then they attack back and we act like they're wrong. Like they were just chilling. They're just like, meal. And then we're like, rip their head off. Yeah, if you want to eat them.
Well, you mentioned a second ago that you just started fishing about, what do you say, like three and a half
years.
And that's interesting because I know that a lot of people that we've had on, and including myself to an extent, I fished a lot when I was really young with my dad, but then I just completely quit for probably 15 years. Just never thought about it again, and then picked it back up right around the actually right before COVID. So like 2018, 2019 is whenever I really got back into it and started learning about it. But it's interesting because we've got people like that, but we also have people like Eric from Versatile Baits that he's been fishing. He's had a fishing rod in his hand his entire life. And people like Michael from Sack Pig, who just started not too terribly long ago, just like, a lot of us have. So it's cool to see that there's no right or wrong way to go about it.
Mhm.
But you're right. COVID did spark a lot of people getting into the outdoors, getting into fishing, hunting, outdoor activities, because that's really all we could kind of do at that point in time. Like it's all we were allowed to do, for
Right.
better or worse. But going back to when you first started fishing, my next question here is kind of a like, what would you do? So, when you first started fishing, if you had a time machine and you could go back that 3.5 years, but you only had a few seconds to give yourself one tip, what would that tip be based on what you know now?
Slow down. Slow down. I mean, that's just in general. Slow down. From fishing to the tackle to the time, just slow down. And there was, I wish I remembered his name. There was a gentleman that once told me the person that picks up fishing late ends up falling in love with it more than the person that's been fishing his whole life. And it's weird because I didn't understand it, but in the beginning I didn't get it. I'm like, that's insane. I love it. How can you not love it? But when someone's been fishing their whole life, to them it's just fishing. It's like, let me go see what I can do. And that's not everybody. I'm not saying that's everybody. That's certain people. You got Bob who's been fishing, 45 years.
Big
That
shout
now
out
he
to
just
Bob.
goes out.
Shout out, Bob.
He's been out there fishing 45 years, but now he just goes out every Sunday. He's just like, you know what? This is my day to go out there. Not, I can't do that. I'm going out every day, and I mean it, at least an hour, because that's the passion I have for it. It's something that I just picked it up, and it was like, I gotta go with it. So that's just me. I don't know how everybody else can deal with it, but it's.
I try to hit the lake on the way home every day also if my daughter is you know wants to go fishing. Being 5 months old, 5.5 months old, she
Oh
some
yeah, yeah.
some days she wants to chill in the stroller and feel the wind, and some days she wants to scream her head off. But yeah, I take one
Yeah,
lap around the lake.
yeah, and that's all you need. I mean, that's and it goes back to the question you asked. What would be that one tip? It would be to slow down, and that would be just in everything. When I first started, I was trying, and it happens to everybody. You look at something, it's shiny, I want it. There's no need for that. Oh, it's new bait. People are catching bass with real night crawlers. We're using artificial Senkos that you can get at Walmart. Just slow down. You don't have to go out and buy yourself 3 or 4 rods for every setup. I went out and the first rod I had was a 6.6 medium fast action ugly stick spinning rod from Walmart. It was a combo. And it did me right for almost anything, and I was running, as crazy as it sounds, I was running 25-pound braid on absolutely everything. I mean, from my wacky rigs to my top water to, I mean, it did, because I didn't know better. So I was just, whatever.
What do you mean no
And
better? I still do that.
well,
20 pound
but
braid on everything.
it's I can't, because now, like I said, it's one of those things that you actually start to understand when you break it down to its minute detail, sensitivity, whether you want that bait to sink or float. There's certain techniques, like it goes back to that quote I said, you can hammer a nail with a wrench, you could put a nail in the wall with a wrench, but it's more effective with a hammer. You can do it however you want, but there's some techniques that you're going to realize when you start to implement them the way they're supposed to be fished, it actually makes a huge difference, and I didn't realize that. I think, what lure was I using? I think it was a top water. Oh, actually it was a whopper popper, and I was fishing it with braid, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I learned that after a while, that braid absorbs water, and the nose of your bait will start to dip as you're running it across the water. And it happens, it won't happen in the beginning because in the beginning it's dry, you're running it through. But I was noticing that a lot of times I'd fish and it wasn't even plopping, it was just gliding, it's just taking off on top of the water. So I was like, all right, cool. I lift the rod tip up and now it's plopping and I'm basically having it nose up in the air and the tail is just touching the water. So there's different techniques. You go ahead and you throw fluorocarbon on there and you probably won't even have that issue anymore, So
No,
it's
I'm not
like
doing
that.
it.
Or excuse me, mono, excuse me. So, and that's something that I don't even
Not
throw,
using
believe it
that
or not.
either.
I'll throw a braid with a mono leader, but I can never go full mono. I've done it with fluorocarbon, and that was because I wanted to test myself, and that was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I don't touch mono either. I love straight fluorocarbon. Like I was throwing a wake bait on straight. I know you're not supposed to do that, and it's dumb. But I was throwing, like, last weekend, I was throwing a wake bait on straight fluorocarbon because it's my favorite.
No
Braid's
rules.
okay, but it likes to backlash on me too bad, so I try to avoid it. But it's yeah, I'm a fluoro kind of guy.
Yeah,
Never. I don't mess with mono.
No, I the most I'll do is a leader line, and that's it.
That's what I should do as a leader line for my top water stuff. But I'm like, nah, if I just hold it up high enough and go fast enough, it's fine.
You'll be fine. I mean, it works.
I
I've
mean,
caught plenty of fish with it like that. It's just
I
there's
haven't.
some things you realize, and you'll be like, you know what? It's all right. It's all right.
Well, you guys are lucky because, like, hearing you fishing every day or trying to get out to fish every day, I'm super excited because I'm going to get to go fishing 2 Saturdays in a row. Because I don't have local ponds or local, like, walk up stuff that's not just lined with people on any given day. So, and I don't
just
like
move.
people in person that much. Well, trying.
Just move.
Trying.
Yeah, just move. I'm trying to get Trevor to move to Pennsylvania. You should just move here too.
I was so close this week.
You're so close to moving?
I know. I was so close to Pennsylvania. I was up
Oh.
in New York, so I was like not too far from you.
Yeah, no, an hour, 2 hours.
Not that bad.
You're in North Carolina, right, Jovan?
Yes, correct.
What part of North Carolina?
I live in no, it's perfectly fine, in like the Fayetteville area, maybe 20 minutes from Fort Bragg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think
So
North Carolina close to John.
Oh yeah, where at?
Greensboro.
Oh, you're what, an hour? I think about an hour and 30, maybe 2 hours, maybe a little more. Not sure.
That's for my day job though, so I won't have a lot of time to hang out. But yeah, I know a lot of people in North Carolina now. North Carolina and South Carolina. Man, I'm gonna have
you're
to
out
go
here,
hang
man,
out.
and you want to go fishing while you're out here, man? Just shoot me a DM and we'll hit some spots.
Absolutely. I definitely will. But I think it's time. We've got a couple more questions for Jovan.
Absolutely.
But it is once again that time. Anthony, do we have a new sponsor this week? I'm afraid to ask.
Us.
Us.
This one is this one's us. Roll the video.
Oh, a word from us.
Us.
This episode of the Bait Boys podcast is brought to you by absolutely no one. That's right, we're currently sponsorless, broke and running entirely on caffeine and poor financial decisions. But that can change with your help. Are you a bait maker, tackle peddler, resin slinger, or just someone with a sick logo and a dream? Well, saddle up because we're now accepting sponsors. For the low price of some actual money, or at least a giveaway item, your brand can be front and center in front of a highly engaged audience of people who spend way too much time thinking about glide baits, soft plastics, tail action, and how many rods is too many rods. There's no number. You'll get ad read, like this one, only less desperate, shoutouts on social media, logos slapped on things, and a warm, fuzzy feeling in your soul. So if you want to grow your brand while helping 3 dudes with mics and bad spending habits and keep this show afloat, slide into our DMs or email us at baitboyspodcast@gmail.com. Yep, that's real. Nope, we didn't fight over the name. Remember, if you're not sponsoring the Bait Boys, you're probably just wasting ad money.
I don't know what to think about that, Anthony. I'm a little concerned with the whole line about we're broke. I wonder why that is.
You guys aren't?
Well, I mean, as a podcast, we've not made a ton of money, and I wonder if that has anything to do with our previous sponsors that get airtime for free.
Well, listen. I have all these new rods in my garage, right? And I thought that's what they wanted us to do with the money, is for me to have new rods.
For me.
Fair enough. Well,
Anyway.
yeah, if you're interested in joining us as a sponsor of the Bait Boys podcast, I can't even say the name right. Anthony's going to do the ad reads because I can't speak English. But yeah, if you're interested in joining as a sponsor and supporting the show in that direction, we'd love to have you. So shoot us a DM or an email that's DM is at Bait Boys Podcast on Instagram. Email is baitboyspodcast@gmail.com. Right? Did I get that?
Is that actually our email? Because that's what I said, and I'm like, is it the Bait Boys Podcast? So we should put that on the screen if I'm wrong. It's Bait Boys Podcast.
It's Bait Boys Podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Send us an email, and I'll make you one of those videos, and we will get you tons of money. Guaranteed. Probably.
Bankroll.
Our lawyer's not going to like that statement. But anyway, moving on. Jovan, I got a couple more questions for you here. Thank you once again for sticking around with us. It's been a lot of fun. These are kind of our questions. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're welcome back anytime. I think it's been a great conversation. A lot of things I wasn't anticipating talking about, but I'm glad we did. So it went really well, in my opinion. Hopefully you all feel the same way. But yeah, a couple more questions, and these are just kind of our every guest questions that we kind of grill everybody that comes on the show about this one specific thing. And that is, I want you to tell us your favorite lure of all time, and why is it your favorite?
Well, I recently did a video on it, and I'm gonna stick by it because honestly, it's my all go-to confidence bait, and it's gonna be that swim jig. Now, I'm not picking on brand. There is some things that I'm looking for in a swim jig that I'm very adamant about. One of them is the skirt, because like I said, in the past, I have dealt with skirts just being pulled off. So the quality of the swim jig matters, but the pattern or the color for me is always going to be that bluegill pattern. A bluegill swim jig, tie that on any given day, any kind of weather, any kind of condition, and I can throw it out there. And even if I don't get hit on it, I'm still happy because I know I fished it correctly and I know I did everything I possibly could with that bait to get bit, and it didn't work out. So, but when I tie one on, it's like I'm tying it on and I'm not stopping till I get bit. Like, it's one of those baits that I know I can get bit on. So that all-time favorite lure is going to be a swim jig.
So bluegill swim jig, any
bluegill
trailer?
Swim jig. I used to go with paddle tails, but honestly, I think that crawl trailer, man, you throw a crawl trailer sideways and have the flaps kind of,
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yes. And just have it flowing like a bluegill, and it gets hit, absolutely gets hammered. And the good thing about it is that you let it just fall on that slack line and land. You got them tails just up there, man, just kicking, with natural fall. So it's perfect. You pick it off the bottom, swim it through the vegetation, hop it if you want, the options are endless until you get it snagged, of course, and you break off and now you don't have a swim jig. But that's not the point of it being there. It's a favorite swim jig. It's my swim jig. It's my favorite.
Any specific color on the crawl trailer?
Green pumpkin.
Just match it.
Green pumpkin.
Oh, green pumpkin.
Green pumpkin. Yeah, green pumpkin. And honestly, lately I've really been messing with it, man. JJ's magic, man. Throw some of that chartreuse in there, especially when you see them. I don't know if you guys ever seen that. I'm pretty sure you have. You go out to the pond and you see those, or the lakes, and you see the little bluegill fry with chartreuse tips, man. You see that, dip it in there, man. Go fish, and you'll be happy. You may catch 1.5, 2 pounds. You may end up catching 6, 7 pounds. You never know. But when you can match the hatch like that, man, and you throw out a bluegill swim jig with those tips dipped in chartreuse, something about it, man. That's why it's a confidence bait. It's a go-to.
Mm-hmm. It's very versatile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say spinner bait, but I am completely trash with one. I don't know why. I've only gotten one bite with it, but it's a learning curve, and I'll be soon playing with it. In one of these months, I'll be locked on with it all month long. So
I want to see that, because spinner baits are very hit or miss. Like, sometimes they're
Is it just me? No. Okay.
Oh,
I'll
So
see you
listen,
guys
it's
moving.
Anthony.
Okay. No, that wasn't my internet. Am I back?
You are back.
Back
Dude,
like you never left.
I don't know what button I hit on my keyboard by accident, but it just shut everything off. But it didn't.
Yeah, you just
at
froze
the
and then
same.
it said, Anthony Antler stopped recording.
It didn't because everything else is still open. What was I saying? I just
There's
pounded.
something.
I can imagine. I was over. We all stopped and just looked at each other like, "Is it me? Is it you?"
No, it was me. Something about spinnerbaits being hit or miss. So I'm excited
Yes.
to see your. What are you doing? A whole month of it?
A whole month of it. I mean, it's good. I have, like I said, I that's one of the things that I kind of started off in the beginning of the year was created an entire calendar from January to December. The 2 baits I'm going to be fishing every month, and they have changed. Some of them have changed from what I originally had planned, just because I was like, you know what, maybe it's not going to work. But there is a month that I will be playing with that spinnerbait, and sad to say, I've only ever gotten one bite on it. It was a great bite. I fell in love with the bite, so I'm going to be chasing it, and hopefully I can get it. But if not, then it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a long, miserable month.
I think you'll figure it out. You'll do the research and figure it out. For all of
I don't
You
know.
don't
us.
seem like one that.
It's one of those things that, like you said, it's a hit or miss. So I'll fish it, and I feel like I could be doing everything right, but it's just, what am I doing wrong? You know, I'll be there. All right, maybe I'm fishing it too fast, too slow.
Mm-hmm. They just don't want
You'll
it.
figure it out. You don't seem like the type to give up on it. So
I will.
like me.
I won't.
No. Well, again, Jovan, thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy life and evening and content creation schedule to hang out with the three of us. We really appreciate it. And I can't tell you how much I think the conversation that we've had so far has been fantastic. And I would love to have you back on again at some point in time if you're willing to come back and deal with three idiots on a podcast.
Absolutely.
Give Trevor some credit.
Make it
Just me
full
and
because
you.
I'm here with you guys, and half the time I'm just as lost.
Yeah. Two idiots and Trevor and on a podcast. Yeah, that's a more accurate
And
statement.
Trevor?
I apologize. What's that?
And the Trevor? That could be dangerous.
Yeah, two idiots and a Trevor. But
no, listen, man. When I was asked to join the podcast, it was one of those things that, like I said, I think life just stopped at the moment. I was like, you know what? Everything is stopping. I don't care what's going on. I was like, I'm even gonna call out of work. You know, this day is important. It's gonna happen. So I put everything on hold. And if it was to happen again, man, it would be the same. You know, it's an honor to be on your guys' podcast.
Well, we've had a great time with you, and I know you said this was your first one, but it definitely feels like you know what you're doing better than we do. So
got comfortable.
You did great.
You know, in the beginning I was sweating. Now you guys, like I said, man, you guys are great. You guys are great hosts. Honestly, I came in here a little nervous, but as the conversation went on, you know, you guys are perfect people to have a conversation with, and honestly, you guys don't seem that bad, so it's a pretty good thing.
Well, now I'm questioning your judgment on people. So.
Yeah.
No, dude, you guys are great, man. I would love to come back. Absolutely.
For sure.
We'll definitely do make that happen for sure. Well, why don't you tell our audience where they can find you, what platforms you're on, and what they can be looking out for in the coming months?
So I'm on TikTok, barely on Facebook. I try to keep up with that, but that's a social media platform I can't really hold on to. It's kind of hard. So really it's just TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. All three platforms is The Real Bass Pursuit. When you spell real, it's REEL, like a fishing reel. So keep that straight. And then honestly, what I have going on, I have something in the works for next year. It's quite some time, but I do have my eyes on some anglers, some bait makers, some photographers, and there's some things that I want to kind of push forward in the near future that I think can not only benefit the bait makers, the anglers, and photographers, but also kids that really want to get into it but can't, you know, really find the funds or have the knowledge, you know. So that is something I am working on, and it's in the future, but as of right now, that's just the game plan. So hopefully we get to that.
That's awesome.
To see that.
That's cool. What a teaser.
You know,
right?
I got
we
something
might know a
going.
few bait makers that would be interested in and helping out with that.
I got my eye on a couple. I got my eye on a couple. So if God willing everything does work, with the right people and the right crowd, I feel like it can be something that could benefit a lot of people. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to help as many people as I can, as many ways as I can. There's bait makers out there that are not getting recognized for their true potential. I mean, honestly, and I'm not tooting nobody's horn, but I really mean it. I'm not gaslighting anything, but you guys actually make some phenomenal baits. When it comes down to craftsmanship, the paint work, even though the system you guys got, there was some times that I messed it up where, Anthony, you're making a bait, but Trevor's painting it. That's a system that, it's you can't find that anywhere else. You got one guy making a bait and painting it himself, or sending it off to get painted somewhere else. You got a buddy, man. So, that's things that I feel like people are not really fully in tuned into, and I feel like your potential, it could be recognized way more. And that's for anglers, photographers. I mean, there's photographers out there that are taking phenomenal pictures, not even getting recognized. Anglers that are putting out beautiful content and probably get 20, 30 views, a couple of likes. And it's like, all right, all that hard work for nothing. So, it's one of those things that it leads back to even the algorithm. You could put 1,000% into a content, and if the algorithm doesn't catch it, it means crap. So,
Unfortunately,
hopefully I can work somewhere with that. Yep.
I think a lot of it comes down to building a community, and like, I would say for the three of us, not in like a formal job kind of way, but we network with a lot of people, like we're just willing to share and take input and, meet new people. So I think that's how you just grow no matter what you're doing, whether you're trying to grow, your photography business or trying to get into fishing, or you have the intention of, becoming a part of a community and growing a community of people who are like-minded and enjoy the same things you do.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Great stuff. And we'll put all of the links to Jovan's stuff in the description below. Not in the comments, but in the description. But while you're down there looking for Jovan's links, why don't you give us a little subscribe love, little like, maybe a share with your grandma or your auntie. That would be great.
Go on his YouTube page and just get lost in his shorts, and I guarantee that sounded weird. that wasn't right, but I'm just saying.
Oh man,
go down the rabbit hole of his shorts. Wait, that's not right either. Oh man. But you'll learn a lot.
Watch his shorts. Wait, no, dang, no, I'm doing it.
Wash them? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, go check it out and just spend some time in his shorts.
Content. Watch the real.
Go watch my YouTube shorts. Go watch my YouTube shorts. Go watch the
content.
There you go.
Consume the content.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff you're gonna learn. I watched about the highway, and I'm like,
dude,
that's something I do. But it's like, it's cool seeing it explained.
Right.
That's an ambush point. Like, you target those areas, and there's just so much good content in your shorts. Oh my god.
Trevor, what have you been working on recently, buddy?
What have I been working on recently? I wrapped up.
Oh god, I do apologize. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have not worked on any shorts. We'll just clarify that. And I wrapped up a batch of Twitch craws for Boulder Creek baits this week. That was pretty exciting.
Awesome. Those look amazing.
They look incredible.
Thank you. And what's the question? What's new?
Yeah,
That's
what
it.
are you working on?
What's going on?
That's it.
This is only our 11th time doing this, Trevor.
It's okay. New every single time, man.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. You're the star of the show anyway. It's fine.
Agreed.
Anything else new in the world of peak baits coming up soon that you want to talk about?
Very soon. Very soon.
Very
yes.
soon. Okay. Keeping
There
us
is something.
keeping us wanting more. He's a mastermind when it comes to this stuff. Always leaving us wanting more.
Real
Perfect.
quick, man. Just want to give a quick shout out to Trevor. I know it happens, but dude, that master splinter piece was phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. By
Thank you.
far, he absolutely loved it. Thank you so much, Trevor.
You're very welcome.
He's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lover. He had to, like, you got to have somebody with passion do something like that. And, oh, man, it
was
is
a
an
fun
awesome
project.
piece.
It
It
was
turned out so
phenomenal.
good.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you haven't seen it, go check it out, man, because that's work right there.
Is it going to
We'll throw
get
it up on the
fished?
screen right here. There it is. Okay, now they're looking at it and you can talk more. What'd you say?
But is it going to get fished?
Oh, right now, that's what I was asking him. I was like, what are you going to do with it? Because he was super hyped to get it fished. And he saw it. He was like, oh, what if I lose it? I'm like, well, you know what? You better be in your kayak when you're fishing it. That's all I'm telling you. You better
Yep.
not fish it from the bank. You better stay in the kayak.
At least it's top water.
Right. It should float.
Or be
You'll
wearing your
float
floating
too.
shorts.
True.
Like
It
float back
floats.
to shorts. Awesome. What about you, Anthony? What do you got going on?
I got this in the mail. The actual
Oh, hey.
bait
The
we're
real
working
deal.
on. I think I'm going to start working
Yeah.
on this next week. I'm going to finish up some things. This is a carved lipless. So we're doing a kind of two separate videos, like old school, new school. So he carves it and then I'm going to 3D scan it and do the new school side of it. So
Dope. That is fire. That is nice. Nice.
this is awesome. I can't wait. And
What kind
I
of
love
wood
the
is that?
Excited to.
It's light, whatever it is.
It's basswood. That's how I make everything. Unless it's like a big musky lure, I make it out of basswood. Then I make those
Dude.
out of poplar.
This weighs nothing, and it's pretty big. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have huge
Yeah.
hands, but yeah.
Well, I didn't
So-
put any weight in it either, like I was planning on. So I still don't know if it works.
I think it will. I definitely think it will. It really, I mean, like, look at the profile and the flat top there. I think you nailed it. We'll just have to figure out weight placement, but that's easy. So that's what I'm going to be working on next week.
It's like
Excited
Chinese
about
to
that
me.
one. All
I
right.
just
Well,
fish him.
well, I'm very excited to show this on the podcast because I've been talking about it for a good part, like a month now. But it is finally done. It's up here. The Freakbaits zombie lab rat is complete.
Insane.
The video is not even started yet.
Dude, I gotta close my mouth. Hold on.
Yeah. So,
Dude,
yeah,
nice,
this took
nice.
a long time, and you can't, like, I've not been able to figure out how to take a good picture, but I hand painted every single hair on this thing.
Wow. I mean, I know pictures are
And-
not gonna do justice, but holy crap.
Yeah. But entirely hand carved, entirely hand painted. It's got some sick dead meat custom eyes that Matt sent me. Where that were kind of the inspiration behind the bait, but it is done. And hopefully, God willing, by the time this podcast goes up, I will finally have a video that outlines the build. And with that video, I'm kind of doing not really a rebrand. I called it a rebrand the other day, but it wasn't really a rebrand, but kind of getting back on brand because obviously the name is Freak Baits. And if you're just doing bluegills all the time, which I love painting bluegills. I love carving and painting bluegills. But if you're just doing like realistic stuff all the time, then what's freaky about it? So I'm kind of leaning into the whole creature cryptid aspect of what could be a cool bait. And I've already got my next two designed and ready to go. I got a custom order that I'm getting ready to start on now that I finished this, like, probably I took it out of the final UV cure this morning. So it's brand new done. So I just have to edit that video and get it posted. And then I have a custom order that I have to do. That's a flathead catfish. But I'm not filming that one, so it's going to not take as long. That one, what'd that take from start to finish? 2 weeks for
That's
one
not too
bait.
bad. That's not bad for that.
But
Can I
that's
ask you
done.
something, Jesse?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
W- just to get in your mind a little bit. How do you come up with these different ideas on these, your freak baits? How?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at that right, and I'm like, it's different. It's different. It's not your typical rat.
I've been throwing around the idea of making, and I've made a couple of rats before for people. Most of them were 2 pieces, all wake baits, because that's what you do with a rat. But I'd always be like, one of them, they wanted to paint it themselves, so I sent it out. I didn't even paint that one. I just carved it and sealed it and primed it and sent it out to them, put it all together. The other one was just really basic paint job, just a rat, like a brown rat. And I was like, I want to do a rat, like a really detailed rat, but I want it to be weird. And just, I don't know exactly when the idea hit me, but it was just kind of one of those, like, I've never seen a lab rat topwater. What if I did a lab rat topwater wake bait? And that just really quickly evolved into, but what if it's like all messed up because it's part of some secret government experiment? And like you can see it has, it has the number 13
The
tattooed on its butt.
13.
Because its official name is Subject 13, and there's a whole backstory and lore to it that these guys have seen, because I already have that. I do have that part of the video done, the intro to it. But I'm like, I want to take both my bait making and my YouTube channel somewhere where I've not seen done before. Not really because I'm like worried about hitting it big or going viral or anything, but it's just like, I want to put something out there that's different. And I say that, but my 2 favorite YouTube channels are Marling Baits and the Y Files. And I've kind of smashed those 2 together now that I think about it, but it's a little different. But as far as the ideas go, and then the next 2 are just strange things that I think of throughout the day. Like, what would be a cool, like, what's not something you wouldn't think would be a bait, but could be a bait. And let's make a story for it. Let's get some images generated for it and everything. And I'm just weird, and I lean into it. So that's where the ideas come from.
No, it's great.
I don't
It's
shy
great,
away
man.
from it.
No,
I
it's
love the
great.
Y
I appreciate
Files.
it.
Yeah, he legit took 2 different sources and merged them together. Look at that, boom.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Throwback to earlier.
And
There
he has
we
a
go.
goldfish.
Yeah, I want to make a hecklefish bait and send it to
Yes.
him.
Yeah, dude, I got a whole tank of them.
Yeah. Well, if you could 3D scan one for me, then that'd make my job a lot easier.
They're all named Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Yeah, they all have the same name. Trevor drew them for me. I just gotta tattoo them. All right, go on. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But yeah, that's what we've all been working on. And that brings us to our final segment, which is our question of the week. And this week's question comes from Matt at Veterans Fishing. And he asks, what is the catch, in quotes, because wait for it, that you lost that still haunts you to this day? What's the one that got away that you still think about on occasion? And per the usual, we're going to let our guest, Jovan, go first. If you're ready, if you can think of something.
Yeah, for sure. So, I was actually on a little lunch break. Now I was out fishing a little pond, and I went ahead and decided, you know what? Let me tie on a spook. It was conditions didn't call for it, nothing called for it, but just tied it on, threw it out there, gave it a couple of twitches, and something just hit it. And I knew that area had something really big. I just didn't know what it was. I thought it was a carp because it was just massive. One day I saw it just sunbathing, and I couldn't distinguish what it was because of how murky the water was. All of a sudden, I get hit, and I'm fighting. I'm like, oh, yep, this is it. This is the big one. I mean, I've got it. It's tossing, it's turning. It finally jumps, and the bait just flies right out. And correction, it wasn't a spook. Was it a spook? I believe it was a spook. I have to go back. Well, anyways, I went out there and I tossed it again, and I gave it a couple of twitches, like hope. You know, when you just miss the fish, and like, let me just see if maybe I can get hit again. Just wasn't biting, and it's one of those things that I go back to that pond so often. I'm like, one day I'm gonna catch you, and I'm gonna love it. But to this day, man, I have no luck, and it's there. I know it's there because there's been times where I've driven by and I've looked in the pond, and it's just sunbathing. It's big, and I can't make out what it is. But one day I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
That's how we all
You don't
feel.
get that big by being dumb. You don't get that big by being dumb. So you're gonna have to really turn it to 11 to catch that one, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Who wants to go next?
Trevor?
I'll go next. Yeah, sure.
How about
All right. What haunts me is a couple years ago, I was fishing at this lake where it has my largemouth and my smallmouth PB from it. So, I'm fishing there early because this exact location I'm fishing, you're not supposed to be on. You can fish the lake, but you can't fish the train tracks that the bridge is on and whatnot. You know what I mean? So I'm on this bridge. It's probably like 7 feet high and it's got like 3 feet out before the water. So I hook into something and it's a potential PB. So I land it, I get it up there, I get it next to me, but the light is low because it's probably about 4:35 in the morning. And so I'm trying to get a scale, trying to get stuff, and I hear it moving, and then it flops over the railing. So I dove over the railing after it, and now my feet are up in the air. I'm stuck in all this vegetation, and the fish hasn't hit the water yet. But I'm just so stuck. I can't even break through the vines and stuff to like get it, and then I'm watching the fish like bloop 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 right away into the water.
Oh,
And then I
that's
had to free
heartbreak.
myself.
So you caught it though.
I caught it, but
It didn't count.
listen, that doesn't count. I couldn't get a picture. Right now, it's just a fisherman's tale. You know what I mean? But it haunts me.
I get it.
Like I lay there at night often and still think of it because I haven't broken a PB in like 4 or 5 years. So having that opportunity like 2 years ago, I'm like, I'm gonna get that fish, Jovan. I'm there with you. I'm going to get that fish.
I'm dying. I'm itching to break a PB.
That's heartbreaking.
Aren't we all?
Though. Like, yeah, you caught the fish, but I get what you're saying, man. It's like,
But nobody else believes you.
Yeah,
No,
I don't think it even happened. You don't have a picture to prove it.
I don't have anything.
Picture didn't happen.
Yep.
He's got
Listen.
a scar. He said he has a scar.
I would
Okay.
absolutely figure out, the movie with Will Smith, Wild Wild West? You remember how they had that device they could put on the head and like turn them upside down and like show what they saw? I would prove everybody that I caught that fish. I just couldn't do nothing with it.
Well, it's easy to
I
say
believe you,
that when
Trev.
that device doesn't exist. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
And
just
it's
messing
also
with you.
showing my age, naming a Will Smith movie from I don't know,
Hey, I remember
20
that.
Let's not talk
plus
about
years
it.
ago. Yeah,
We're the
so
same age. Let's
That's
not
the
talk
one
about
with they were in the big spider.
we're not talking about it. Yes.
All right, fine, whatever.
Yeah,
Am
we were
I
in
up?
high school when that came out.
They had the
you're right.
spider.
Go for it.
So the one that haunts me. So when I first got into like kayak fishing, I was out on the kayak at night because I love night fishing, and my buddy's like, "Dude, this is when the giants hit. Like, they always hit at night." And I was throwing a black and blue chatterbait, and I just remember, you're reeling a chatterbait nice and slow at night, and it gets hit, and it's just straight weight, like it just stops, like you hooked into a stump. So that happened. I set the hook and the thing was running at me. So I'm like, trying to catch up to it. It gets by the kayak, goes under, and this thing spun the kayak around. And in my mind, this is like a double digit. It could have been a 4-pounder. I have no idea at the time because I had just started. But in my mind, it's huge. Spins me around and then comes off. And I'm like, telling my buddy, I'm like, dude, I just lost like the biggest fish. This thing was huge. It spun my kayak around. I don't know how big it was, but I think if I would have caught it, it was like double digit size because the
Like
way
15 pounds?
at least 19 or 30. Between 19 and 30 pounds is the size of this fish. It nearly flipped my kayak over when it spun me. It almost ripped my rod out of my hand. No, none of that happened. But yeah, that's the one that haunts me. I remember that feeling of it diving under the kayak and just pull down in the water, spun me around. And at this point, all I had ever caught were like 2 pounds, like a 2 pound was like, oh, I caught something nice. So this was like, oh my God, I hooked into a stump. So yeah, when I lost that
At least 42 pounds.
Yeah, when I lost that 38-pound largemouth, that's the one that haunts me.
Talking about a world record there. You got to go back and get it. 38 pounds.
Yeah.
You're fishing for the
No.
Loch Ness Monster.
I meant 38 kilograms. Wait, is that more?
Jesus.
I don't know.
Wait, no, I don't know. No,
Yeah, it is more. It's double. Anyway,
I don't speak commie.
what about you, Jesse?
Mine is not a bass story. It's a crappie fishing story. And because I love to go crappie fishing. And a couple of times, like for my birthday or for my son's birthday, we've gone out with a guide, and we have one guide that we like to go with. His name's Kyler. Shout out Kyler Beckman. And he's actually a very experienced both guide and professional crappie angler. Like he's won a lot of tournaments. Like he's very well respected within the crappie community. And I'm fishing with Kyler, and we are using live scope. Sue me, I don't care. We're using live scope, but I just see, and we're catching fish. Like we're doing great throughout the day, and we're not quite to a limit yet, but he is scanning around. They're kind of all out roaming, not really schooled up. So we're having to kind of work for him. And then all of a sudden, he gets really excited. Now, keep in mind, this is a guy that's been guiding for years, has fished major crappie tournaments, and he's getting excited. He's like, come here. Get, and like he can't even talk because he's so excited about whatever he's seeing on the live scope on the graph. And I can't read, at the time I still can't read it really, and I have one, but like I can't tell what's going on. I'm just listening to him. And he's like down, right, left. And then I just feel this massive, it felt like a pike hitting it. Like it was just this big tap. So I set the hook and I'm reeling it in, and it's crappie gear. So it's not heavy gear, right? And I'm reeling it in. This fish gets up to the surface and I go to boat flip it. He's like, flip it. And I go to boat flip it. And right as it gets out of the water and falls back in, the absolute biggest crappie I've ever seen to this day. And he's just like, he freezes. He's like, that was probably close to 4 pounds. This is a guy that knows what he's talking about. Like I would have said it was, like Anthony's doing with his fish. It was at least 17 pounds is what it felt like, right?
Minimum, yeah.
But no, he's like, that may have been 4 pounds. Cause it was, massive fish. Like I've caught a 2-pound crappie before. I caught a couple of them and they're big. They're like 16, 17 inches. This was at least 3 or 4 inches longer than that. And I was devastated when I saw it. Just came off, like it didn't spit it. It may have ripped through because, they call them paper mouths. You may not know that, but they call them paper mouths, especially when it starts getting warmer. Their lips are not, and it was just too heavy for that little crappie jig. And it just gave out and fell back into the water. And we were both just standing there in disbelief. And my son's like, what happened? I don't want to talk about it, but I did get to see it at least. It didn't break me off or anything, but it fought like a pike. It hit like a pike, fought like a pike. And it was just, especially on that light tackle. And I'll never live that one down. That was a personal low moment for me. It was like, I almost had what was, I think the Missouri state record's like 4.5 pounds. So like a close to state record crappie on the line. Now, granted, I was guided into it. I did nothing to actually like
Well, you threw
get
the
this
lure.
fish. I'm not.
The hook set matters.
Yeah,
The hook
it
set
does with
matters.
crappie fishing. It does with crappie fishing, and I was told I have a perfect hook set by more than one crappie guide. So there's my claim to fame.
There we
But
go.
It wasn't the hook set that was the problem. It pulled through, and it didn't. It still makes me angry thinking about it, because like that's one I would like. I like to eat crappie, but I wouldn't have kept that one. I would have taken pictures and measurements, and I would have had a replica made of it, because it was like, that's a once in a lifetime fish, and it is gone. So like, it was heartbreaking, but you live, you learn.
Right.
But that was our question of the week. If you'd like to submit a question of the week, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below, or DM it to us at Bait Boys Podcast on Instagram, or write us a thoughtful note on a postcard and mail it to Anthony's address.
Yep.
However you want to get it to us. If you
mail it to me, though, there's got to be cash with it. Like,
like the fishing rods in your garage.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, leave us your question of the week, and there's a good chance that it will be answered.
It'll be
That's the
readed.
word I'm looking for, on a future episode of the Bait Boys Podcast. But gentlemen, that brings us to the close. I'd like to once again thank our wonderful guest, Jovan, A.K.A. The Real Bass Pursuit, for joining us tonight and hanging out for this great conversation. Hopefully you all enjoyed it as much as we did. So yeah, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, both to Bait Boys Podcast and to The Real Bass Pursuit, and follow on all social medias. We'll leave all those links in the below. And hey, buy a shirt, buy a mug, buy a I Am Batman Trevor shirt. Those are out there now. And probably by the time this goes up, maybe a Bwuu ducky pack. A Bwuu ducky patch.
Whoa.
Don't forget, they spent $200. I will video call them.
Whoa.
That's right. We made that deal. Yeah. If you spend $200 in one order, you will get a personalized video call from the man himself, Trevor.
Is it okay if they're
That's a deal. That's working.
They're in bed late at night?
What?
I
was thinking of calling.
To hang up if it needs to.
I was going to call them while I was in bed late at night.
Right, well, then I guess it works. Whatever you're comfortable with, Trevor.
Even
That might actually work.
Yeah. All right.
You guys are awesome.
And, with that, I'd like to thank you all for sticking with us through to the end. And as always, we will see you next time.
Did great, guys.
You guys are absolutely funny.